The Audio Beacon, March 2023. Sacred, to bow the head in sackcloth and in ashes, or rend the soul, such grief is not Lent's goal, but to be led to where God's glory flashes, his beauty to come nigh, to fly, to fly, to fly where truth and light do lie. Percy Dearmer. Secular. Indoors or out, no one relaxes in March, that month of wind and taxes. The wind will presently disappear, the taxes last us all the year. Ogden Nash. Let's march this march towards positivity. Unknown, just found it, but much needed. Facts about March. The word March comes from the Roman Martius, originally the first month of the Roman calendar, and named after Mars, the god of war. March was the beginning of our calendar year. We changed to the Gregorian calendar in 1752, and it is only since then that the year begins in January. The Anglo-Saxons called the month Hlid Monath, which means stormy month, or Hread Monath, which means rugged month. All through Lent, the traditional games played are marbles and skipping. The games were stopped on the stroke of 12 noon on Good Friday, which in some places was called Marble Day or Long Rope Day. The game of marbles has been played for hundreds of years, and some historians say that it might have been started by rolling eggs. In the past, round stones, hazelnuts, round balls of baked clay, and even cherry stones have been used. Commemorations this month. 5th March, St. Piran. Born in Ireland, studied the scriptures in Rome, returned and was made a bishop. In Ireland he was said to have performed many miracles, but the kings of Ireland at the time were not impressed. It is reported that in the 5th century St. Piran was flung into the sea in Ireland. He had a millstone around his neck, but miraculously floated across the water to Perran Beach in Perranporth. Here he built a small chapel. He built his oratory amongst the sand dunes. People would come from miles around to hear him preach. By accident, St. Piran discovered tin. A black stone on his fire leaked a white liquid. He had discovered tin. The Cornish flag, the flag of St. Piran, white cross on a black background, represents white tin flowing from the black rock, or good overcoming evil. St. Piran is believed to have lived for 200 years, was fond of a drink, and met his end falling down a well. No date of his death was recorded, for any Cornish exiles in the Benefice. 25th of March, the Annunciation. Lady Day was the first of the English quarter days, when the countryside cycle of life began afresh with spring dispelling winter. It was considered the first day of the year. The Church's measuring system for time was Anno Domini, AD, in the year of our Lord. In the most technical sense, this would be measured from the Incarnation, rather than the birth of the Christ child. Hence, the year would start at the Annunciation. Scotland changed its New Year's Day to 1st of January in 1600. Lady Day occurs close to the vernal equinox, very near the beginning of spring. It also occurs during the Lenten season of fasting, which makes it difficult to celebrate an actual feast. So, people would make a special effort to make what they were allowed to eat during Lent more interesting. Occasionally, it could also fall on Good Friday, considered bad luck in England. An old saying explains, "If our Lord falls in Our Lady's lap, England beware of some mishap." In this case, the observance of Lady Day is moved to the first Sunday after Easter Sunday. Weather. March borrows its last 3 days from April, as many mists in March as there are frosts in May. The weather at the end of March and beginning of April is usually similar. Dear friends, Lent runs throughout March leading up to Easter. Lent starts on Ash Wednesday, 22nd of February this year, and ends on Easter Saturday, 8th of April. It is seen as a time of observance, reflection, and preparation for the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus at Easter. It has traditionally been a period of fasting or abstinence to get our minds and hearts ready for remembering Jesus' life, death, and bodily resurrection. Fasting is a common practice in other religions and was much more common in Christian England prior to modern times. A pillar of Islam is the practice of fasting during daylight hours in the month of Ramadan. Many of us know something about this from our Muslim friends and colleagues, and I have a great respect and admiration for the very many of those who practice it. So why has abstinence gone out of favour in this country? And indeed, why bother to do something so alien to our modern way of life? Should we consider giving up alcohol or chocolate or tobacco or similar pleasures, or go for the full fasting experience? Abstinence may be very helpful in encouraging us to reflect on our faith when before we would have reached for a drink or a snack or smoke. How much better that will be for us anyway than a short-lived dopamine boost. We will not be giving up the things that we truly need. We still have shelter, sufficient food, family and friends, community, and our faith. However, observance of Lent with some form of abstinence may well help us to focus better on the things we need to do to build our spiritual life. There are many ways to approach Lent. Here are just some suggestions. 1. Reduce your time on technology and social media, and instead take an hour reading a book or going for a walk, staying away from your mobile telephone and computer. 2. Every day for 40 days, clear out a different part of your home. 3. A popular 40-day Lent challenge is about distributing random acts of kindness. Why not set yourself the challenge of doing something nice for someone every day? E.g., send your co-worker a nice message or hold the door open for someone. It could really brighten their day. 5. Give up unhealthy food for Lent. It could be anything from sweets to chocolate or alcohol to fast food. 6. Set yourself a steps goal for Lent. It could be 5,000, 10,000 or even 15,000 if you're feeling extra active. 7. Everyone has a lot of clutter in their house that they never use. So why not fill up a bag of unwanted goods every day and take it to your local charity shop? 8. Place an item into a box every day for 40 days and then take the box to your local food bank on Easter Sunday. Now I have to decide how I might spread the Christian message this Lent. Yours in faith, Reverend Annette. Revenge. By taking revenge for an injury, one is even. In passing it over, one is superior. Sunday Reading for the Young, 1884. All-age service. After a long interval, Jenny was able to resume leading an all-age service in St Mary's, Kintbury. It has to be said that the congregation upon this occasion consisted of roughly the same age, except for your ancient editor. The service is simple and meaningful. Being the first Sunday after Candlemas celebration, the theme was light and Matthew chapter 5, verse 14. As part of the talk, we had an enlightening shared Bible study on the words, "You are the light," with many examples of the images the word light engendered. We sang the hymn, "Walk in the Light," and Jill and I were able to explain that Brother Damien, the composer, then at St Cassian's, had rehearsed us in one of the first renditions of this hymn when he led one of our monthly ecumenical services in St Mary's. This is always an enjoyable, thought-provoking service, suitable for all ages. In the past, children have given us many topics for reflection. We thank Jenny and trust that it will resume with its usual congregation of all ages. Penny Fletcher. The railway comes to Kintbury and beyond. For hundreds of years, the fastest form of transport known to most people, either in towns or villages, was the 4 or 5 miles an hour of the carrier's cart. The heady speeds achieved by the stagecoach might be enjoyed by the wealthier classes, but for most, life could only continue at a gentle, plodding pace. Then, the railways arrived, first in the industrialised north, then, thanks to Isambard Kingdom Brunel, in the south and west as well. By 1841, Brunel's Great Western Railway between London and Bristol had fully opened, and for the very first time, passengers could experience travelling through the Vale of White Horse at over 25 miles an hour. Clearly, railways were the transport of the future, and many in our part of Berkshire were keen for a slice of the action. In 1845, an Act of Parliament was passed which, with the support of the already well-established GWR, created the Berks and Hants Railway Company. This was to be a branch line from the Great Western, leaving the main line just southwest of Reading towards Theale. This was the Berks section of the line. The Hants section turned southeast towards Basingstoke. There were to be 4 stations on the way to Newbury: Theale, Aldermaston, Woolhampton and Thatcham, then to the west, Kintbury and Hungerford. The line finally opened on the very cold morning of 21st of December 1847, when, according to the report in the Newbury Weekly News of December 24th, there were initially few spectators. But, as the day advanced, however, the bustle began to increase, and it was very evident that something of great public interest was occurring. The Newbury Weekly News was not impressed by the speed of the new service, which covered the 8 1/4 miles between Newbury and Hungerford, with one stop at Kintbury, in 25 minutes, but commented, "This will doubtless be improved." The reporter seems to have forgotten that this speed was probably 4 times faster than a carrier's cart would have completed the same distance, but perhaps expectations had been raised by the railway company. However, those who travelled along this new branch line were, apparently, unanimous with respect to the very great smoothness, absence of oscillation, and of noise which appears to distinguish the Berks and Hants from other railways. It would be interesting to know how many of these travellers enjoyed seats in first-class carriages, and how many, if any, took that first journey in a second or third-class carriage. Many of the wealthier classes of our villages, the inhabitants of Westwoody House, Kirby House, Hampstead Marshall Park, Barton Court, and so on, might well have availed themselves of the opportunity to travel up to London at previously unimagined speeds, though I doubt many cottagers would have joined them. For some people, the arrival of the railway meant a serious decline in business. Canal travel could in no way compete with the speed of the train, for example. Coach travel took a blow too. Previously, 7 horse-drawn coaches a day had left Newbury for Reading, but this service was soon discontinued. William Huskisson, MP, was famously the first person to die in a railway accident when he was unable to get out of the way of a moving engine before it ran him over. That had been in 1830. But other people failed to appreciate how dangerous it could be to get too close to a fast-moving engine. The Bath Chronicle of November 1847 reported the story of a lad in the employment of Mr. Alderman of Kintbury, who was crossing the line at Hampstead with a donkey and cart when he saw an engine coming down the line at a pretty rapid rate. Presumably to get a better view, the young man actually pulled up with his donkey and cart on the middle of the line on which the engine was running. His stupidity, the paper opined, was second to none. Luckily, the son of Mr. Gibbons of Hampstead was passing by, and he ran up to him and succeeded in hurrying the donkey off the line just as the engine came up. You can imagine the conversation in the Gibbons household that evening. It is perhaps not surprising that fare dodging arrived with the railways. The Reading Mercury of January 1848 reported the case of Daniel Gingell and Richard Tidgell, who had jumped out of a second-class carriage at Kintbury to evade the payment of their fares and thereby defrauding the company. They were fined £2 3 shillings 6 each, the equivalent of several weeks' pay at least, or 1 month's imprisonment. I bet they didn't do it again. By 1862, our branch line was extended to Devizes. Originally, this line was one of Brunel's preferred broad gauge of 7 feet and 1/4 inch, although lines across the Great Western were eventually replaced by standard gauge to conform with the rest of the country's growing railway network. However, if you walk along the canal to Vicarage Bridge, Kintbury, you'll see 2 lengths of former broad gauge rails being used to buttress the bridge on the east-facing side, a relic of Brunel's engineering. If you are a railway enthusiast, or if you know anything about the early days of the Berks and Hants Railway, I would really like to hear from you. Email me at teresalocke@waitrose.com. Tessa Locke. Forest Church at Enbourne. Forest Church met in the grounds of St Michael's Church, looking out towards Beacon Hill, on Sunday, 5th of February, at 4 p.m, rather earlier than services held later in the calendar for obvious reasons. The service had a strong emphasis on thinking about faith, wonder and awe through the lens of nature and the seasons. We began with a short meditation and a song by Donovan, The Lullaby of Spring, followed by the Emily Dickinson poem, A Light Exists in Spring. We then went for a short walk into Hampstead Park, where we admired and heard about the cedars of Lebanon growing there. Upon our return to the church grounds, there were final blessings and prayers by the fire pit, before singing the final song, Johnny Nash's appropriate and uplifting, I Can See Clearly Now. Thanks to Gary and all from the South Newbury Benefice for another wonderful and thought-provoking Forest Church. There is another Forest Church at Enbourne on Sunday 26th of March at 6 p.m, the day the clocks change and we celebrate the arrival of British summertime once more. Report by Phil Ireland, based on a description by Father Gary of South Newbury Benefice. West Woody Morning Praise, a report by Jenny Vesey. The service started with the Christian Aid prayer for Ukraine. It concluded with the congregation standing for a spirited rendering of the Ukrainian national anthem, played spontaneously by Howard the organist. The Christian Aid prayer for Ukraine. Almighty and great God, accept our gratitude for your boundless mercy towards us. Hear the supplication of our afflicted hearts for the land and people of Ukraine, as they confront foreign aggression and invasion. Open the eyes of those who have been overtaken by a spirit of deception and violence, that they be horrified by their works. Grant victory over the powers of evil that have arisen, and bless Ukraine with your gifts of liberty, peace, tranquility, and good fortune. We implore you, O merciful God, look with grace upon those who courageously defend their land. Remember the mothers and fathers, the innocent children, widows and orphans, the disabled and helpless, those seeking shelter and refuge, who reach out to you and to their fellow human beings, looking for mercy and compassion. Bless the hearts of those who have already shown great generosity and solidarity, and those who prepare to receive their Ukrainian brothers and sisters in Ukraine's greatest time of need. Bring us together as your children, your creation, and instill in us your strength, wisdom, and understanding. May you be praised and glorified, now and forever, and to the ages of ages. Amen. The Way Through the Woods. One can hear the trees singing gently in a calm breeze, loudly in a storm. To enter a wood in a storm is to suddenly hear the noise outside stop. A calm peace envelops you. It is perhaps to feel the arms of God sheltering us, reminding us that whatever happens, He is always there. Matthew chapter 28, verse 20. Walbury Beacon Benefice contact details. Rector Reverend Canon Annette Shannon, 01488 646 385. Jenny Vesey, 01488 657 911. Email jennyvesey@hotmail.com. Benefice Office, 01635 226 064. Email wbb.office.contact@gmail.com. Items for the beacon to Penny, on Ian_Fletcher 43 at btinternet.com or Phil PJI at crestednewtcomputing.co.uk. To be added to the Beacon distribution list, please email the Benefice office. Opus 2, The Crucifixion, by John Stainer. Kintbury, Saturday 25th of March, St Mary's Church, 6:30 p.m. Hungerford, Saturday 1st of April, St Lawrence's Church, 6:30 p.m. £15 per person, £25 per couple. Tickets on the door, cash or card. Cash bar, raffle. Soloists, Gordon Fry, Dan Couchman. Directors, Susan Norman, Chris Lambert. For further information, please contact info@opus2.org.uk. Services in Walbury Beacon Benefice for March 2023. To check for changes, please check the weekly Benefice email if you're on the circulation list. Add your name, email wbboffice@gmail.com. Look on the website https://www.walburybeaconbenefice.org.uk/ or a church near you https://www.achurchnearyou.com for up-to-date information, confirmation of service times and location. In order to protect more vulnerable parishioners, we would appreciate those attending services in all our churches to continue to practice hand sanitising, wearing of face masks, and respect for those who wish to maintain social distancing. Sunday 5th of March, second Sunday of Lent. Kintbury, Holy Communion, 8 a.m. Inkpen, Holy Communion, 9:45 a.m. Kintbury, all age, 9:45 a.m. Sunday 12th of March, third Sunday of Lent. Kintbury, Holy Communion, 9:45 a.m. West Woody, Holy Communion, 11:15 a.m. Inkpen, Holy Communion, 8:30 a.m. Enbourne, Holy Communion, 11 a.m. Sunday 19th of March, Mothering Sunday, fourth Sunday of Lent. Kintbury, Holy Communion, 8 a.m. Kintbury, Holy Communion, 9:45 a.m. Inkpen, all age, 9:45 a.m. Coombe, Holy Communion, 11:15 a.m. Sunday 26th of March, fifth Sunday of Lent. Clocks change. Kintbury, Holy Communion, 9:45 a.m. West Woody, Holy Communion, 11:15 a.m. Enbourne, Forest Church, 6 p.m.